What's good, y'all? My name is Dylan Green, and this is Real Notes, a space dedicated to blurring the cultural and artistic lines between rap and film. I'm here to chop it up with everyone from rappers and producers to journalists and video directors about their relationship to movies and how, if at all, film inspires their craft. My guest this week is writer, rapper, producer, and sound designer Pat Jr. We spoke about Logic, Top Boy, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Doctor Strange, the Rush Hour movies, The Fifth Element, Gladiator, our favorite film scores and composers, his relationship to hip-hop and classical music, how he approaches music as a sound designer, the pros and cons of overthinking while writing, and the creative process behind his latest album, Gold Fangs On Sunday. Come fuck with us. Black white boy, son. Like Logic really he really
I feel like when I saw it, I felt like that Dr. Umar meme was perfect. Like the one where he's just looking at the phone, like, really? Like, yes. What would it really be a Logic album if we didn't have any commentary on him being biracial?
No, man. That's like Pusha T talking about coke. Like that's
exactly
that's just what he does, you know.
Right?
And it's kind of rough because, like, on the one hand, I get it because, like, well, actually, I'm trying to think of how to explain this. So, like, he's white passing, so he gets very little sympathy from me in that regard. Absolutely. But on the other hand, like, I know he's gone through a lot. And I'm sure there has I'm sure there's been some sort of adversity he's gone through, but just like hearing him complain about people complaining about him talking about it when he always makes a point to talk about it, like especially after that like clip that somebody made of like all the times he's mentioned it over his career, like you kind of did this to yourself, bro. Like, you know, like nobody rides on Cole for it because Cole never brings it up. He's maybe brought it up like twice, you know, like. And you're like,
probably once,
maybe,
and I'm being funny, but like, I don't know. So, you know, people, I'm into, since, you know, this is a podcast that is related to movies. Like, I'm into movies about like time travel. Like that's my thing. Yeah. Like anything that has to do with time, I'm an advocate for it. I just love movies that, you know, Back to the Future, Looper, like, you know what I'm saying? Anything, not Inception, Interstellar, like anything that has to like, so people say, and shows too, but people say like, you know, if I had a time machine, I would go back and like, if I had the ability to time travel, right? I wouldn't want to go back and like change anything. I would just want to observe. And one of the things I would love to observe if I could go back in a time machine is the first time Logic said nigga. I just want to, in front of people. Oh, like, can you imagine? Like, because if I'm being honest, when I saw him, I didn't know he was mixed. I thought he was a white dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, me too.
And so I would love to have seen the first time, like he said nigga, and what the reaction was to people in the room.
That's so funny because speaking as someone who's biracial myself, like that's just like, but you know, like I'm also like not white passing. Or at least I feel like I can say that. But like, you know, like,
yeah,
I saw him and I heard him say it on a song. It was on Under Pressure. He like said it during a song and I was like, what? Like I jumped because then I looked it up and I was like, oh, he's mixed, but like I wouldn't have known. It's just, but no,
is that your first album from him? Under Pressure?
I want to say, yeah,
it was mine.
Because it was either that or maybe like somebody might have sent me like one of the Sinatra tapes. I don't know. Like I'm not like he's just someone who's like the music's not really good, but he's just someone who's always been really fascinating to me just because of that. Like,
yeah.
And it just makes me laugh. I don't know. I feel bad, but at the same time, like I don't want to harp on him too much, but just like
Absolutely, absolutely.
the whole situation is just like black white boy, like come on son, like you want people to like you're leaning into it, and like just stop, like you want people to stop talking about it, just stop, just stop, like and then like the Africarian shit, like stop bro, stop it, like I hope the new project's cool though, like I don't know, or like maybe hope is the wrong word, but anyway anyway,
Moving on.
best of luck to Bobby, I guess. But
Absolutely, absolutely. Best of luck.
yo, hi, welcome back to Real Notes. What's cracking? We're back. I forgot to say what's cracking last week, but fuck it, we're here.
We're here.
Already. It's Dylan Green, CineMasai. I do a lot. I'm all over the place. And I'm speaking with another mover and shaker, incredibly special individual who I've been fucking with for probably about 2 or 3 years at this point, but he's been going harder for longer than that. This man's a fucking rapper and a producer and a Gold Fang enthusiast and
Yes.
a lot of other shit. Pat Jr. Pat Jr.'s here. Welcome, Pat Jr. I don't have clapping
Hey.
sound effects, but like, bro,
It's all
thank you
good, man.
so much for being here, man. I appreciate you more than you know.
Man, I appreciate you inviting me. I look up to you. Like I always I'm a like before I'm a rapper, I tell people before I'm a rapper, I'm a writer. You know what I'm saying? I esteem myself and deem myself that just because I think to me, more than rapping, writing is important. Like understanding how to write, how to say things, like how to craft lines, like all of those things. Like a lot of people don't notice. Um, I'm finding really cool ways to and spaces to talk about it, but I have my master's in creative writing. Like, yeah. So I wanted to go to school to teach like English, and then it became like, oh man, I'll teach creative writing because that's what I went to school for. Like I know how to write movie scripts and like comic book storyboards and all that stuff, and the whole nine. And so um like I to me, writing is before rapping, writing is important, is like should be first, and that's how I see myself. And so I take my writing and all that I do very seriously. Of course I have fun, but like, you know what I'm saying? Um, like the writer side of me is what I lean into when doing anything really, even, down to production. So yeah, man, I appreciate that. And I say that to say, like, I appreciate you and I respect what you do. You know what I'm saying? You and I know a few others, but like, and please, I don't want anybody to be in my DMs or my mentions, but you and Yo are like my two favorite writers in the music space. You too.
Thank
Like,
you, man.
yeah, both of you guys are like my two favorites. And so the guys who are actually like doing reviews and you know what I'm saying? Like, because that takes a lot of guts and a lot of courage to say this is good or this is not good or here's my opinion on whatever. Like that takes a lot of courage and you do it extremely well. So yeah, man.
Yo, thank you so much. Like, as someone who doesn't have a master's in creative writing, that means the world to hear.
Man, stop.
And and also, of course, shout out to my brother Yo. Rap Portraits is amazing. We
Absolutely.
like yeah, I had him on the podcast man last year. So like yeah, just
Okay.
like yeah. Yo's fucking
Fire.
amazing. But
Yeah.
like yeah, man, no, like the respect is mutual. Like when I first heard your music, I could really tell that you took writing very seriously and just like kind of putting like we're gonna get into the projects later, but like I could just tell that
Absolutely. Yeah.
like even not knowing that you had a master's in creative writing, like that's like I could just hear it in the way you put words together that you take words very seriously, and that's
Absolutely, man.
we fuck with that over here. So thank you,
Absolutely, man.
bro. So let me ask you. Let me ask you the first question I ask everybody who comes on here. What was
Okay.
the last movie or TV show that you watched that you had a strong opinion about? I think you're gonna tell me a couple because we've been talking about some shit for the last couple weeks.
Yes,
But
we have, man. I really love that. Like I that we connected on that level because I've been peeping the podcast and just I really respect your opinions on stuff. Um, we've talked about Top Boy, which is
mm-hmm.
probably my in my top three of like Netflix series that I've seen of all time. Um, and then of course, like just some of the movies. I went to go see. I feel like Top Boy, like strong opinions, yes, but it could be a little biased. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, I haven't like I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. There's one specific movie I saw recently that I really want. I have a rebuttal against people that have said, "Oh, this is mid." Like I have a very strong rebuttal, because I feel like some people, when it comes to movies, and they're so quick to like give a critique on something without really like taking time to analyze it. Like, just
Yeah.
shut up. But uh, everything, everywhere, all at once.
Okay.
Incredible, man. Just
Who said it was mid? That's the
no, no,
first
no,
I'm
not
hearing.
that one, not that
Oh,
one, not
okay.
that
Okay.
one.
Okay. Okay.
I'm just
Okay.
going through the things that I saw. Incredible, right?
Yeah.
And
Beautiful.
masterpiece. Like I hardly ever give 10 out of 10, my boy. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I just started watching the recent, and I know it's been having some mixed reviews. I started watching the latest season of Stranger Things. I just caught up and watched the first two seasons of the Wu Tang Saga on Hulu, which
Yeah.
I think is really good. You know what I'm saying? Some of it is corny.
A little
Some
bit.
a little bit. It's corny. I can't remember the main actor's name who plays RZA, but the wigs, man.
It's always the wigs, bro.
Oh my
Like it's
god, man.
always the fucking wigs, man. It's so
uh,
sad too.
but I mean, it gave me context to. I've all like I was talking to my homie Malcolm yesterday, and like I've always respected Wu Tang. Like I didn't come up in that era. I didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like I was a kid, like I was young. But I've always respected them like from a distance. I think Method Man is the one who I gravitated as just an individual artist, like,
Yeah.
followed him a little bit, but it gave me context to their music. And now I'm really able to, like, I'm going through and listening to their solo projects now, like, because I think the only solo project I really listened to because I was in the Method Man was Takao. And that's via my mom, like putting me
Mm.
on, you know what I'm saying? But like I haven't, I'm going to be listening to Liquid Swords for the first time. I'm going to be listening to Iron Man for the first time.
Woo.
So like, and then of course, like 36 Chambers, I've listened to it in the past, but like now I have even much like more appreciation. So the movie that I want to just say real quick, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Okay.
So I saw a lot of people say like I saw a lot of people say it was mid, right? Some people said, oh man, it was really good, and then like because I was like, oh, I tweeted it, and like just to see like what people were feeling. I was like, oh man, don't tell me the new Doctor Strange is mid. And like I had a whole bunch of people like hit me back and like, yeah, man, unfortunately it is. And so here's my thing about that movie, right?
Yeah.
Like I think that some people don't understand when you're creating a universe like Marvel has created, right? And then in the middle of creating that universe, you attain some of the rights that you lost that you had to sell a while back, right? Like they've been doing a really good job with the Disney Plus series and like all of that, right? Like so I'm taking all of this into consideration. So this movie, the way I see this movie, if we're gonna give it a proper review and context, like, right, it's a connector movie, right? And the reason this is why I say that, because now they had to use a movie, not a Disney Plus series. They had to use a movie to bring in the X-Men, who they just got back from Fox, and bring in the Fantastic Four, who they just got back from Fox as well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so you create this whole multiverse thing, right? And you do it via Doctor Strange, which makes tons of sense, right? Like just who Doctor Strange is and what he's capable of doing. I think as a connector film, and what they were trying to bring in, like what they were trying to introduce into the Marvel universe, I think it was great. Like, it was entertaining. It wasn't like their best Marvel film ever. It wasn't.
Right.
But it wasn't mid. I thought it was very entertaining. It was very pleasing, which is very hard to do for people that watch or that read the comic books. It was very pleasing to somebody like me who reads the comic books, who knows who the Illuminati is in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
Like, a lot of people don't know who the Illuminati is. And so to see that was like, oh shit, this is fire, right? And to see a character like Black Bolt, like I didn't think we'd ever see the Inhumans on the big screen. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for like, a lot of people were saying, oh, it's mid. Like, I think that for the first film also, that catapults off of the Disney series too, like the Disney mini series. So this movie catapulted off of WandaVision.
Yep.
And What If, and we can actually count Loki if we really want to get down to the nitty gritty. Like,
you totally could, because it's all multiverse stuff, and that's kind of where it all started. Yeah.
So I feel like for the first movie that catapults, that ties into the Disney Plus series, which I don't think we've ever seen anything like that in movies before, right? Like, where you have the main storyline in the big screen, and then you have a TV show series or multiple TV show series that also tie into the big screen film. Like, that to me is like difficult to do, you know what I'm saying, as a writer or as writers. So it, in my opinion, I'm not giving it any excuses, but I am looking at the context and how they're bringing everything together. With the Disney Plus series, and y'all just got the rights back to the X-Men, and the Fantastic. Oh, I'm fucking hyped. Y'all did it. That was a great job to me. Like,
right.
That's
like,
just
let me.
Man.
No, I feel it, because like I liked it too. I wasn't like in love with it, but I had a great time watching it, and like bro, seeing Charles Xavier in the fucking comic and show accurate chair in the yellow shit. Like that like it really just tapped right into that spot in my brain that was like, just give me all of this. But another thing that I loved about the Illuminati being in this movie was like that it was almost like Marvel was deliberately fucking with the fan base, who were like trying to like ship people and do like and just kind of do their own like fantasy draft, right? Because like you have Reed Richards in there. You have, I can finally talk about this because it's been out for a month. So like you have Reed Richards in there, you have Black Bolt in there, because they tried it with the Inhumans before, and that show went nowhere because everyone hated it. But like, even though I love Lockjaw, but like I hope Lockjaw finds his way back into the MCU. That'd be
absolutely
cool. The dog, he's the best. But so like you got Doctor Strange, you got Reed Richards, Charles Xavier, Black Bolt, you got Captain Carter. You got Peggy Carter as Peggy Carter as Captain Britain, and you got Monica Rambeau, Ms. Marvel. So it's like all the fan characters everyone wanted, and then they killed them all in 15 minutes. Like, they were like, fuck you. Like, I actually kind of, that was like really funny to me in like a twisted sort of like, oh, you wanted this, fuck you kind of way. Like, Marvel doesn't do that very often, and like that was that was pretty funny to me. And just
I
like,
thought it
bro,
was, yeah.
bro,
And then to even know like, oh, this is just this universe. They've been introduced, so they exist in other universes.
yeah.
You see
And
what I'm
just like,
saying,
bro, she turned Mr. Fantastic into string cheese, son. Oh
bro?
my god. She turned him into a she did the little Play-Doh shit.
Crazy.
I was dying laughing. That shit was like, and another thing I loved about the new Doctor Strange is like it was a Sam Raimi movie, and Sam Raimi's all about like the funhouse
Horror.
schlocky horror, and I think the
Yeah,
funhouse schlocky horror really suits the Doctor Strange
absolutely.
aesthetic really well. Just like I thought the effects were cool.
Yeah,
I loved the corpse Doctor Strange bit at the end where he like uses
yeah,
the soul. Like that's like it was just, and then on top of that, we have America Chavez in the shit now, who I
exactly.
love, and
Yep.
like and like she can do multiverse stuff, like, and just and of course Wanda was great. Like I think the
Mm-hmm.
characterization they gave her as a fucking like wild white
And
lady
see,
who wants
she,
to drain power from fucking person of color. That shit was
yeah,
pretty fire.
yeah,
Or like
and
fire is the wrong word, but like they really like they leaned into like, yeah,
yeah, I know what
she's
you
she's
mean.
wilding.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah. I mean, again, here's another thing. Like she was Wanda, but this is the first film where she was uh like Scarlet Witch, because remember,
yep.
they could not call her that because Fox owned those rights. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So like so that's why I was like, I was very appreciative of this film. Like I enjoyed it, you know what I'm saying? I gave it like a solid 7, you know what I'm saying? Even like in even like the corpse, like that was zombie Doctor Strange. So like that's another what if thing, like
Yeah, that
that
shit
they
was
kind of
hard.
tied into. Yeah. So it's just like, man, I thought it wasn't mid. I think it was a solid movie,
Yeah, I agree.
and it was definitely a connector film where it's like, now this is a film where a lot of things can sprout from, which like I appreciate. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those
Yeah.
things where it's like, now we can do a whole bunch of other different shit. This opens the door for a bunch of different shit, which I think they recently announced. I think they recently announced that the Fantastic Four movie is actually gonna come out, because I didn't even watch the last one. I don't even want to know about the last. I watched the Silver Surfer one was decent.
Oh
I just
man.
like the Silver Surfer, but the other one that
Yeah,
they
me
did
too. I like
with
the second.
Michael, was it Michael B. Jordan? I didn't even
Yeah,
watch it. I heard it was horrible.
garbage. It was dumpster juice, bro. Awful, awful, awful. Like maybe one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my
Oh
they
my
and
god,
like
man.
and like not even because I don't want to spend too much time on it, but not even because they didn't fuck up, not even because they fucked up the story of the Fantastic Four. It's just a bad, drab, depressing, like boring movie to watch. It's just like
Jeez.
not, and like the coolest scene in that, like, because like they get their powers, but they kind of treat it like a body horror sort of thing where they like
Yeah,
can't
yeah, yeah.
control themselves. So it's like
What?
Mr. Fantastic is like stretching all over the place, and like he's kind of like he almost like tears himself apart, and like the thing is inside of like the scenes where they're trying to like keep themselves together after getting the powers and like expressing the horror of like, oh shit, like my body's different. Like that was cool, but
Okay.
the rest of the movie was fucking garbage. I was so upset. I was
Wow.
so upset. But yeah, the new Fantastic Four movie is gonna I think it's closing out Phase 4.
Okay.
So I'm excited. Like I think
Nice.
um, I've seen all the Marvel movies. I haven't seen all the shows because I missed Moon Knight. I got to catch up on Moon Knight. I think Ms. Marvel I think it just started yesterday.
Just started. Yeah.
So I'm hyped to watch Ms. Marvel because I love
Yeah.
Kamala Khan and all
I
that
don't like
shit.
how I
So
don't like how they changed their powers a little bit, but I guess I'll watch it
yeah,
still.
me too. But I just like Kamala enough that
Yeah, yeah,
I want
absolutely.
to see how it turns out. But I agree. Yeah,
Absolutely.
they fucked with their powers a little too much. Um, so bro, for you, let's run it all the way back now. So like, what's the
Okay.
first movie experience you can remember having? Like it could be at the theater, it could be at your cousin's house. It doesn't matter where, just the first time.
the first movie experience that I remember having, two, it's actually two, but I'm gonna lean into the one that's one of my, both are one of my, one of my favorites, but
Yeah, however you want to do it.
I'm gonna lean into the one that piqued my imagination the most. So one of them is Rush Hour, the first Rush Hour. Like,
A
yeah,
classic.
yeah. That was the first one. Enjoyed that movie. I remember being in the, I think I can remember being in the like in the theaters, like, because I was like, my granddad, he watched a lot of like kung fu flicks, but he was also a big Jackie Chan fan. And Rumble in the Bronx is something I remember seeing on TV when I was a kid. You know what I'm
Man,
saying? And that's like, that's like peak Jackie Chan right there.
for real.
Like
Yeah.
prime Jackie Chan. And so, but I remember seeing Rush Hour in movie theaters, and I thought it was great. But there's another one I remember seeing in the movie theaters that is definitely one of my favorite movies of all time. But I also feel like it was way ahead of its time. And it also gave a great depiction of what the future would look like, in my opinion, at like I've never seen a movie do until like modern times now. And that's The Fifth Element.
Woo.
Like, that movie to me was a combination of like science fiction, comedy, action, and like you got a little bit of like superhero, like, you know what I'm saying, in there too.
Yeah.
Um and funny enough, like I saw, Rush Hour in theaters, like Chris Tucker's in that movie too. You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I don't I just everything from the music choice to the storyline, I just thoroughly enjoyed it. Like, just the whole thing of this, oh man, like, these aliens or this being or whatever the case is gonna like destroy the earth, and we got to find these different stones, and this one person, like, this individual, this ancient artifact being like an actual hero, and like bringing that ancient artifact into the lab and it reviving itself and becoming like an actual like human being. Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
it just really piqued my interest. And then just the way they depicted the future, like as this, it had the aesthetic, because I think it was in New York where Bruce Willis was living, I believe so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and it just like having the griminess of New York, but at the same time, it's still like the future. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I like, and even down to like just the wardrobe too. I don't like, it didn't come off corny to me, right? Like, it didn't come
Yeah.
off cheesy. Like, when I saw it, I'm like, no, this could really be the future. You know what I'm saying? And then also seeing other movies like the redone Blade Runner having very similar qualities about how they depicted like the future, like the newest Blade Runner or whatever. Like,
Yeah, 2049, I think it was called. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like those being like, when I saw that movie, I actually saw it recently because I just slept on it or whatever. But like, I'm like, nah, this is giving me, like, they definitely took some notes from The Fifth Element. I can see it, like, you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, man, it's just, I don't know, I just really love that movie, man.
And yeah, it's crazy because everybody was taking notes from the first Blade Runner. And like and like it's crazy because like when I first saw Blade Runner, it kind of like, that was like a whole head bust moment for me, bro. Like it
Yeah,
just like that really like kind of challenged my perspective of what a sci-fi movie could be. And then to hear that, like when it came out, nobody went to see it. It bombed at the
that's
box office.
crazy.
And then when they started putting out all the different director's cuts, and once because Ridley Scott hadn't really blown, or no, maybe he did at that point. I forget, but like it was like it just didn't move for whatever reason. And then,
Yeah,
years
yeah,
later, people kind of went back and appraised it and were like, oh yeah, no, this shit is tight. And like, and then to see and then to hear that the new Blade Runner is I'm taking notes from the Fifth Element, when I can guarantee you the Fifth Element was taking notes from the first Blade Runner.
absolutely.
Like I love those types of like connective nodes, and like the things from Blade Runner, or not Blade Runner, the Fifth Element, excuse me, that I always remember are the opera singing blue alien lady. That
Yes,
that like like
yes,
like like that whole scene is still one of the weirdest and coolest things I've ever seen in my life. I just like the song is so like out there and just like but like it's that. And because like the big bad villain of the movie was like this big ass planet, right?
yeah.
It was like a planet with a face. I don't
This
remember what it
alien,
was
this
called.
it was like it wasn't a planet with a face. It was like an alien, some kind of alien planet, or I can't remember. I have to watch it again, but yeah, it was this evil entity essentially.
Right. And like thinking about it, when I first saw it, I thought about you're a Marvel head, so I assume you know Ego the Living Planet, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So like it made me think about Ego the Living Planet, and just like how ridiculous the idea of like, oh, like the thing is just like a planet with a beard and a face. Like it's
Yeah, yeah,
but like of course the thing in the Fifth Element's different from that, but just like but like like you were saying, I think the Fifth Element is it's such an interesting combination of all those genres, which is something that the director Luc Besson has always been really interested in. He's the
yeah,
guy who made The Professional, and
yeah,
that Scarlett Johansson movie where she takes the drugs that make her brain
yeah,
do
yeah,
brain stuff.
yeah,
What was that? Lucy, right? He made
yeah,
Lucy. And like Luc Besson is really interested in like those, just like that type of like, I wouldn't call it all singing, all dancing, but just like it's a lot of different movies in one. And
yeah.
sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Sometimes it doesn't.
The Fifth Element is one that I think works pretty much
Yeah,
all the way through. I think that's a timeless. I think that movie's timeless. I love watching that movie to this
yeah,
day.
man. Like I feel the same exact way. Like I feel like it's timeless. I didn't look up in all of my years of knowing about it and watching it. I've never looked up what the ratings were because I don't give a fuck. I love it. Like it's just great. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro.
And that was one of my favorite parts too, like the opera scene, the blue. First of all, like the whole idea of having a cruise in outer space, like,
That shit
you
is
know what I'm saying?
loose. Like, yo.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, man.
Dude. And it's sad because like, real quick thing before we move on,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
Disney, what's it called? Disney World's trying to do the whole Star Wars cruise thing. Or like it's not like a
really?
real so like, long story short, they have this like hotel thing that's supposed to be like an experience. It's at the Star Wars land in Florida.
Okay.
And like you pay like a ridiculous amount of money to like stay on what's supposed to be like an interstellar cruise for like 3 days. and
Mm,
and and you like do like quests and meet characters and like play games. Basically, like you're basically like role playing. It's
okay.
basically paying $5,000 to go do like a Star Wars LARP, basically, like in a
Okay.
building, but they like fashion it like a cruise. And
Mm.
that just felt like poor man's Fifth Element to me. The
I
whole
didn't even know about that. That's crazy.
it's like it was a big deal because it came out, and it's like a 3-day experience that you got to pay, like I think like for two people it's like $4,000 or some bullshit like that.
Good
Like
gracious, man.
it's not worth it. But like like you saying that about the fact that they were on the cruise, it's like if the Star Wars thing was like that, I would do that
That
in a heartbeat.
man, that would be fucking crazy, bro.
That'd be turned up. That'd be
Bro,
crazy.
I'm saying that would be crazy. But yeah, man, I love that movie. I gotta
Yeah.
watch it again this weekend now that we talking about it.
Damn. Yeah. Me too. Yeah. I might gotta tap in. I might gotta tap in like tonight or tomorrow or some shit.
Yeah,
I might do that
man.
honestly. So moving on, like as you got a little older and started experiencing more, like was there a particular movie that like kind of was there a movie that kind of made you fall in love with movies, like something a little deeper than just like enjoying it on a pure entertainment level. Like it doesn't even have to be like in the artistic sense, just like something that stopped you in your tracks and was like and just connected with you more than just like, oh, I had fun watching this.
Um, Gladiator.
Ooh, good
Like,
choice.
yeah, man. I never, up until that point when it came out, like I never really was into like, because Gladiator is not action. It's like a drama action film. I really never was into dramas like that. Um, at until Gladiator happened. You know what I'm saying? Uh, and it connected with me on a level of seeing this like beloved hero and character go through some shit, like, you know what I'm saying, all the way up until death, and then being remembered, like remembered as like beyond a hero or a king. You know what I'm saying? Like it took him. I don't. It's man. It's just it's. Now that I'm thinking about it, I wasn't expecting this question. I would have to dig a little bit more, but I just remember that like that movie making me appreciate drama films even more, like actually listening to the dialogue and taking in the dialogue um of drama films and giving them a chance. Because I never really gave movies like that a chance until Gladiator, and it became one of my favorite films, you know.
That's crazy. Wow. Cause like now that you mentioned that, I hadn't thought about this in a while, but I remember when I first saw the posters and like either the poster or like the DVD case for
Yeah,
Gladiator. And it's just like Russell Crowe standing in the middle of the Coliseum. And you know, like I see the title Gladiator and I'm thinking like, oh, this is gonna be like a crazy cool action movie about a dude in fucking sandals and like
yeah,
a metal skirt who kills people. And I'm like,
yeah.
okay, that sounds fun. But then, you know, I watched it too, and I was like, oh, there's a lot more like
It's like depth.
politics
Yeah,
and yeah, it is like depth and politics and um um royal incest that
yeah,
goes on and that shit.
yeah,
And like I'm just like watching all the shit like go out the way it does, and I'm just like, whoa, like this is, you know, like I don't know if it was my first experience that I had like that, but I remember just being surprised by because I was so young, being surprised by the kind of movie it turned out to be.
yeah. And it's
And yeah,
you always like that. Here's the thing that, and it's now coming to my head, like one of the things that stuck out to me. It was the first film that I watched as a kid that I was always used to the hero surviving at the end of a movie, and like, oh, the hero survived and he, you know what I'm saying? Like he saved the day and he got restored back to whatever. Like
right,
him winning was him dying to be with his family again.
yeah,
But the journey to him, like the journey, it was like on some, like when you read epic like poems, like shit, like you know what the ending is gonna be, but it's all about like the journey to get to that ending.
yeah,
Where it's like when I watched the movie when he died, I was like, oh no, he had to die. Like this makes sense. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's not as sad seeing him go out this way because of how he went out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, definitely.
because I think it was at one point like him and the other guy. I keep forgetting this the actor, the black actor who was like his homie.
Oh
Um,
damn.
I now I gotta look it up.
Yeah, me
Uh,
too.
uh, I can't even. Digimon
Yeah, Jamin Hansu.
Hutsu.
Yeah,
Okay, Jaimin Hutsu.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, I don't need. I can't. I'm glad you saved that, because save me on that one, because I don't even
I
know how to
just
say his name.
I just learned like a year. No, I was gonna say like a year and a half ago. I just learned like really recently that that's how you pronounce his name. So yeah, it's Jamin
Yeah,
Hansu.
yeah, yeah. So like I remember, because Russell's character, because was it Maximus, right? He wanted he just wanted to die. Like he just like, man, I just want to be in my family. Like that's it. Like, you know what I'm saying? But he still had some work to be a man of the people, even where he was. You know what I'm saying? Even in the worst of conditions. And it was one of the movies that, like I said, like I was so used to seeing the hero win, like triumph, at the end and get restored and all that stuff like that. But it was like, nah, like at the end of the movie, it was like, nah, homeboy, he had to, it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? It made sense, like, to see him go out that way. And it wasn't sad, because the life that he lived while in captivity and as a gladiator made a lot more impact, like, on people, obviously, in watching the film. So yeah, man, that's why that movie stuck out to me and kind of like gave me more of a appreciation for, like, even before I went to school, way before I went to school for it, gave me an appreciation for like script writing and drama films and stuff. So yeah.
No, that's a good choice because like that, yeah. I mean, like those late 90s, early 2000s Ridley Scott joints were like really crazy for that type of stuff. Like between that and I think my favorite is probably, you ever see Kingdom of Heaven with Orlando Bloom?
I have not.
That movie's wild. And like I didn't really appreciate it until I mean, like I liked it the first time I saw it, but then I saw the director's cut. And like the director's cut is like it's not a completely different movie, but it like fleshes things out. It's kind of long, but it fleshes things out to the point where like you could see what the full vision was supposed to be. And it just turned out to be like, like I think Gladiator and Kingdom of Heaven were really, they just really did a great job of like not only kind of like exploring the depth of that stuff like that, because you think like, oh, like gladiators and knights, like we all, like everybody kind of has like a base understanding of what a gladiator is, what a knight is, but like they really get into like what it means to like like the fact that like most gladiators are in captivity and like just like the whole like system of like medieval culture and or like not even medieval culture, but like because I think Kingdom of Heaven took place in the Dark Ages, but like either way, just like kind of just like it's not like 100% historically accurate, but it's historically accurate enough that you'd be able to like get extra credit points on a test if you watch that movie one time, like
absolutely.
Type shit. But like even outside of that, like the movies are just like really entertaining and like Ridley Scott just knows how to direct action well and like knows how to like block a dramatic scene. And now that we're talking about Ridley Scott and Gladiator, I gotta ask, have you seen The Last Duel yet?
I have not, man.
So it's on HBO Max. It's kind of
The Last Duel.
Yeah, The Last Duel. It's kind of like a mashup of Gladiator and Kingdom of Heaven. Now that I think about it, but it's like, it's about these two. It's about these it's about this really famous it's called The Last Duel because it was literally like the last duel that was done under French law back when like disputes could be like settled by fights to the death.
Wow.
And it's about these two knights and the wives of and the wife of one of the knights. It's told from all three of their perspectives, just about like, because like real quick trigger warning, she gets raped about halfway through the movie, and really like it's all based on a true story. So she gets assaulted by one of the guys, and she tells her husband about it, and the husband is like, oh well, challenge you to a duel, all that shit. So like the movie is told from three different perspectives about what happened in those events, and just like shows the different character motivations and like how perspective can change the way someone looks when it comes to stuff like that. And on top of that, it ends with a 20-minute fucking fist fight between the dude from Stuck on You and fucking Kylo Ren from Star Wars.
Oh wow.
So like it's the best movie he's made in a minute, and just like it's long, but it's definitely worth it.
When did it come out?
Last year.
Okay, I gotta watch that.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's on HBO Max. Definitely worth your time.
That sounds really good.
Especially if you fuck with Gladiator.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
it's in that vein for sure.
Okay, bet.
So let's jump over to music for you. Like when did you first fall in love with music, and who were some of your favorite artists that you were listening to coming up?
Oh man, my mom, man, really put me on to hip hop, like really all things music, man. My mom, I owe that to her. Like she really, I was raised by a single black woman who, you know what I'm saying, put me, on to hip hop, you know what I'm saying? And at that time I was listening to like all kinds of music, and I think that's why I'm so eclectic like now. But I would definitely say like as far as the two genres, and even as I'm thinking about this in retrospect, and even with the music that I sent you, like I was thinking about it
Yeah,
that day, like the two genres that really impacted me the most, of course, like hip hop music, and then classical music. Um,
right.
and so, because classical, you that's where you get your strings and your horns and all that stuff like that. And so, like, I have this true affinity for, um, like movie scores. Like, I'm the guy that listens to movie scores. You know what I'm saying? Like, and of course, like coming up, like I gospel, R&B, like jazz music. I would say that's another one. That's another one too for sure. I would say three. So jazz, classical, and hip hop. But yeah, man, like as far as music that I was listening to, as far as artists coming up, like when I was younger, like Tribe Called Quest, definitely. Like my mom
Come
put
on.
me on the Tribe. She put me on the um, she put me on the Biggie, Pac, Most Def, you know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, man, like I remember the whole Diddy Bad Boy era, like with the black and white, and like
Yeah, yeah.
I was one of them. I was one of them that had the black and white outfit, everything, you know what I'm saying? When I was coming up in school.
On your Bree stretch shake shit. Get out of
Yeah.
here.
For Billy,
Oh
get
no.
smacked silly. Get smacked silly. Like the whole G Dep shit. Yeah, man.
Bro, come on.
Oh man. Because I was born ready on fish and spaghetti, you know what I'm saying? but but yeah, those are like coming up, growing up, like, of course, like R&B was like New Edition and SWV, and um then you got like on the gospel side, like, early Kurt Franklin and Fred Hammond. Oh man, I'm a big Fred Hammond fan, man. Love Fred Hammond. Um, and so yeah, man. Like I grew up like listening to a plethora of music for sure. Um, and then I remember when I started like actually making beats. I remember I found a very strong connection with Tron Legacy, like the movie that we did
Oh,
Tron.
oh man,
That's one of my joints too, man.
son.
That's one of my
Oh,
joints too. The soundtrack is fucking crazy.
yo, it really might be one of my favorite albums I've ever heard in my life.
Absolutely.
I was
Absolutely.
I'm so happy you went there because I was gonna ask you what your favorite film score is. I don't know if that's your favorite, but like
No, I wouldn't say it's my all. Like I got a few, but that's one of my favorites though. Like
so yeah, talk to me about why Tron like the shit knocks, but like talk to me about why Tron Legacy.
I mean, man, like it's just again, it's one of those films where I'm glad I didn't even know who Daft Punk was at the time. I didn't even know who they were. Like,
Mm,
you know what I'm saying? But I just was like, yo, this shit, it's just it just sounded big. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was one of them things where you took electronic music and you took like the film, like the feel of cinematic like movies, and then you just combine, like, you know what I'm saying, combine it into one, or the feel of an orchestra, and it just felt big, like it felt grand, like it had its very what I loved about a lot of the textures and stuff is like how certain tracks would start off like very minimal and then turn into this like huge thing, at the end, you know what I'm saying? Um and there's definitely like definitely like some hip hop influence in there and a few of them joints I'm listening to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's actually the first movie score like soundtrack that I purchased. And the first movie score soundtrack that I sampled. Like it just, I don't know, like the movie in itself was super dope, but then just the soundtrack to me was just, it was amazing. So
Bro, that's like thinking about it now, that because I always liked film scores too.
mhm.
But I think that also might have been, if it wasn't the first, it was one of the first that I like went and listened to, like outside of watching the movie. And like I'm not talking about soundtracks, because a soundtrack is completely different. Like that's usually just like made of songs that are like
Right,
put in
right. A
like,
score. We're talking about a movie score. Yeah.
yeah, like it was like the first score that I really sat and like listened to, and
Yeah.
was like, because I was I was already a huge Daft Punk fan. Like
Okay.
I was big on Discovery and One More Time and Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger. Like that was my shit. But
Yeah.
like I heard that they were a big part of the reason I wanted to see the movie, actually. And just like
Because they
me,
made a cameo in the movie too, right?
they're
Yeah.
in the movie, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, in the club scene.
In the club scene. Yep.
Me, yeah,
And
me,
that
yeah,
track, that track is crazy.
oh, that shit is, yeah, that shit is wild. That and the shit they're playing during the first fight scene,
Yeah.
on the disc fights, bro,
Crazy.
so wild. Me and
Crazy.
one of my best friends from college, Connor, shout out to Connor if he's listening. Like he and I would just drive around in his car and listen to fucking like Daft Punk, and like that soundtrack, and their last album they put out before they broke up. Like that was our,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
Daft Punk was our whole shit back then,
That's
man.
fire, man.
Crazy. But anyway, yeah, so like, man, I feel it. I feel it.
Yeah,
I'm so
man.
happy you brought that up. Like I'm so mad it took 60 episodes for somebody to talk about Daft Punk and Tron Legacy, but we're here.
Wow.
I love it. That's so
Hey,
good.
man. Yeah, man. It's one of my favorite. Now, like I'm like some of my like favorite like composers, definitely Hans Zimmer,
Mm-hmm.
um Joe Asashi. I don't know if you're familiar with any of his work. He did
I know the name.
he does a lot of the animation stuff, but Princess Mononoke.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know him. Yeah,
I
I've
can't
heard of
remember
his
the
shit.
name of that production house or what it's called, but
Oh, Studio Ghibli.
yes. Yep.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Spirited Away, like all of that stuff.
Shout out to Hayao Miyazaki always.
Yeah. I keep fucking his name up. Um Ryuichi Sakimoto. He did the Revenant movie score.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, that was really beautiful too.
He's really good. Nicholas Bertel. Um Nicholas Bertelli, I think it's Bertelli. He did the soundtrack for if Bill Street Could Talk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. That was gorgeous.
You know what I'm saying?
That was gorgeous.
Um yeah, man. There's a few like those are just off the top of my head, like that I really enjoy just listening, you know what I'm saying, to their work. But like I just, again, man, I just love movie scores, man.
Oh yeah. Do you know you fuck with Michael Giacchino at all?
How do you spell the last name?
I can't tell you.
Do you know
it's
what the
it's
first what did he do? What's the most recent movie he scored?
the most recent. I don't know the most recent, but
Or one of them?
the one that comes to mind is he scored Star Trek Into Darkness. which I wasn't a huge fan of as a movie, but the score was really nice. Um, I'm trying to remember, but like Michael Giacchino has scored a bunch of
Okay.
movies that I
Okay.
really. Let me see if I can find.
I
So
gotta check. I
so
gotta check him out.
his name is Giacchino, Michael
Yeah,
Giacchino.
I just pulled it up. I just pulled it up. Yeah, I gotta check him out.
He yeah, I gotta run through a few things he's done because like I know he's done more than just
Ah, he did the Batman. The movie was
yeah, but still
the
like
soundtrack, the
the
score
score
was
is
great.
crazy.
The score
Yeah.
was great.
Yeah. I think that's I'm looking at his discography right now, and he's the king of the movie's not great, but the music's awesome. Like
Oh
he's the
jeez.
he's the he's
Oh,
the king of that shit.
and then Ludwig Göransson.
Oh, of course,
Um
man. Of
yeah.
course. Yeah. The shit he did
Yeah.
for Black Panther was beautiful. That Black Panther's man.
Man,
Mm-mm.
crazy. Crazy. I think all of the work that he's been doing for the what you call it series. Gosh, why is it slipping my head now?
The Mandalorian,
The
I think.
Mandalorian. It's been great.
Yeah.
It's been really good.
Right, man.
It's been really good.
And I'm actually happy we're here at this point because this is a great segue into I think the last question I typically ask like for like the
Mm-hmm.
first bit of this. Like we still got a few more, but like
Yeah, yeah,
usually
for sure.
like was there like I mean like I feel like you kind of already answered this, but like I want to hear like a detailed specific about like the moment when you consciously started to link music and film together in your head. Like
Yeah.
it's like it sounds like you're already there at that point, but like yeah, like talk to me about that.
I would definitely say it was I kind of like revisited it. Because at one point, like it started off with Tron Legacy.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? Then it went from that to like the Born Identity soundtracks. They were really dope to me. I actually sampled one of them in one of my like earlier projects that's nowhere to be found on the internet.
Type
But
shit.
right. Um, but I don't know. I think I've always been there. Like it never was like as far as like incorporating it into my music, definitely recently because it's something that I've always wanted to do. I just didn't know how to do it, you know. And then when you know, start working with like some of the producers that I work with now who are just fucking incredible and you know jazz theory and are classically trained and all that kind of shit, like
Mhm.
then that allows you to do, you know, that kind of shit. And so yeah, like it's something that I've always wanted to do and now I'm able to really like do that, you know what I'm saying? And the crazy thing is that um I've started doing it already, but like on my last project on Gold Fangs on Sunday, there's like a 4-track run when you start hearing some of that in my music that I've been like wanting to like do for a while, but like I'm starting to hear it in music a lot more now, which is really cool. Like you hear it on Kalani's latest project.
Mm. Blue Water Road is so good.
Yeah, yeah, it's really good. You hear it on Sometimes I Might Be Introvert by, you know, Little Sims.
Yeah.
And then you hear it on Kendrick's album, you know what I'm saying, which I think is really cool. And I think Kendrick is like the way he did it to me was probably um one of the most palatable ways that I've heard, like when it comes to like hip hop in general.
Yeah, definitely.
I do think last year Sometimes I Might Be Introvert was my project of the year. That was my album of the year. Um as far as like hip hop is concerned, like
I feel
um
it.
that
That
was yeah. Uh but
yeah,
yeah, I
the
mean what was you gonna say? My bad. Go ahead.
oh yeah, no, I was gonna say I really liked it too. I just wish the interludes weren't there. I like Gray Area a little more, but it's
Really?
solid. Yeah, I love
Okay.
Sims. I love everything Sims does. I've been a super fan for since her first project, but like,
What was the one
yeah.
that I actually started listening to her? It was before Gray Area. Was it like it was? I think it was before. What was like one of them was called like Wonderland. I can't remember that one.
Yeah, it was something, we could just call it Wonderland. It was something wonder, like it was all based on Alice in Wonderland. That album's really, there's a bonus cut on there that was produced by Bad Bad Not Good. That's one of my favorite songs
Okay.
she's ever done. I love that song.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think I've already kind of been there. It's just actually tying the two worlds together as far as like my music and it's like again it's been something that I've been wanting to do for some time. I just never
Right.
really knew how to do it, A, and then B, never really had the courage to do it because like it's just shit that you just don't hear like that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you hear hints of it here and there, but to actually go out on a limb and actually do it like super low key, like I am working on my next album and super low key, like I've been developing this sound since like 2000 and I want to say like early 2020, like just trying to develop like toy around with stuff. And of course, you know, I'm in the sound design, so I'm just kind of like, you know what I'm saying, trying to figure out
Yeah.
how exactly I want to do it. And it's been fun. And I finally like we've locked down something. And so then hearing all these other albums, especially Kendrick's album was like a huge encouragement because I felt like with the shit that I was doing, I'm like, yo, am I too far left? Like, what the like what am like am I, you know what I'm saying? And then I hear, you know, Kalani's album, especially Little Sim's album, like hearing that and then like hearing Kalani's album and then hearing Kendrick's album, I was just like, okay, I'm not tripping. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Um,
totally. Like,
yeah,
um, yeah, for all for all the problems and issues that I have with the Kendrick album thematically, like musically, that album was really like some of the best beats I've heard all year on that album.
yeah,
And and like not even just beats, but just like the way that like just like the way he incorporated the instrumentation is just really nice.
yes,
And then there's a moment, you reminded me, there's a moment on the new Blast album, the song Pick Your Poison at the very end where like they come in
okay.
with the violin, like just
I
like
gotta hear that.
it's one of my favorite songs I've heard this year. It's just so good. Like Blast doesn't always hit for me, but when Blast hits, it's just like right in the chest. So
Yeah,
like it's really subtle. It's like the beat is really cool, but then after the second hook, someone just comes in for a small little violin solo, and it just adds so much dimension to the song, and it's just like, like just like those
absolutely.
moments. So like yeah, I definitely agree with the
Yeah,
notion that like like because like it's really easy from where I'm standing, it's really easy for that type of fusion to be like really corny, like they're like,
bro.
bro, sometimes people be trying too hard to make the shits go together in like a, hey, I'm doing it like this, and it's just like, don't try so hard, it's just like when it's more organic and it feels like you were saying before with the Fifth Element, like if it makes sense, like then make it happen, like that's one of the
Yeah,
things I love about listening to Gold Fangs on Sunday, because because like when you do it there, it doesn't feel like you're forcing it or trying to be something you're not. Like this
this
is
is
Pat
it's a part
Jr.
of who, yeah, it's a part of who
Yeah,
I
it's
am.
it's
I just
yeah, that's
I
great.
I appreciate that, man, because it's like it's a part of who I am, and it's like I like I hesitated like on doing it, but it's like nah, like this is me. Like I said,
Right.
like the connection to film has always been there, and like the affinity for movie scores has always been there, and I'm listening to this shit all the time. And like when I'm not listening to music and the radio happens to come on, the automatic station that always stays where it is the classical station that's around here.
Right.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So it's just like it's always been in me and I've always loved it. So like it was a matter of time before I blended two together, man.
That's
So
good shit.
I
You know,
appreciate that, man, because I know some people heard I know some of the songs on that project, some people heard it. I don't know what their thoughts were, but nah, this shit is this me.
Yeah,
Like
right,
even
right,
the
right.
last song, like This Is the Day, I got inspired from that because it's something that my grandparents, you know what I'm saying, when we would have family prayer, like that was one of the songs that they sang. But then also Fred Hammond's version of This is fucking crazy.
Yeah, man.
So it was like I wanted to bring in a choir and do my shit. That was just something I wanted to do. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Yeah.
yeah, man.
It's like the only reason I bring that up is because it's so easy. It's so easy for like that merger of like rap and classical to kind of verge into like how do you do fellow kids territory, where it's just like and like it's kind of an issue that I have with a lot of like, because like there will be times when like someone like somebody will make some shit that's like real hard, real grimy with like drums that a live band would not be able to do those drums justice. Like I hear
Right.
somebody, like for example, like Nas doing Illmatic live. You know,
Mm,
like there's no way that an orchestra can get at the true feeling of a song like New York State of Mind, or a
yeah.
song like The World Is Yours, or a song like Ain't Hard to Tell, like, or even a song like Life's a Bitch, like those
Yeah,
songs,
yeah.
like the way those sample drums move and like the way they make me feel, you cannot replicate that on you can't replicate that on a kit, in my personal
Right.
opinion.
Right.
Like and like drums are really important to me in that regard. So like when it comes to like people kind of like retrofitting beats onto like orchestras and stuff that's a little more classical, like you have stuff like the Nas at Carnegie Hall, and then you have stuff like Miguel Atwood Ferguson kind of doing the Dilla shit when
Right,
he
right, right.
when he worked with Dilla, which I loved. Like I thought that they did a fantastic job with that, and that's the kind of stuff that I get from what you do. Like I enjoy it, and it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like you're trying too hard to like marry these two things because it's like a thing to do. Like you fuck with the shit, and I can tell that you fuck with the shit, and that
Yeah,
makes it
man.
land and connect. I don't know. That's
I
just
appreciate No, I appreciate that, man. I know that's a tough compliment to come by, like when it comes to you. So I appreciate that.
is it? I feel like I'm pretty nice.
Hell no. Hell no. So like hearing you appreciate what I've done in the past, I'm like, okay, man, this dude, he actually fucks with me, not just as a person, but he also messes with the music.
Hey man.
Um, so I that's a high compliment coming from you because I'll be peeping them reviews, my boy.
That's so funny, man. I kind of get into it sometimes, but
I
I feel
know
like
you do.
I try I really try my hard I try my hardest to be as nice and fair as possible. I don't
Absolutely.
but
Absolutely.
lately I've been a little less forgiving in certain things. I'll definitely cop to that. But
Yeah, man. No, and
oh
I
man.
get it. I get it. I appreciate your honesty, man. So
No, of course, like that's what I'm, like it's my job to be honest, whether I like something or don't like it. So,
hmm
that's my job. And I completely forgot that like sound design is a thing that you're super into and it's like a part of what you
yeah,
do. So like as a sound designer, like that obviously gives you like you obviously view things from a completely different perspective than somebody who just raps or just makes beats, like being
yeah,
a sound designer kind of, like that's like the next level or a next couple levels really down from that. So
yeah.
like as a sound designer, like how do you think that your experience as a sound designer has kind of helped, or if not helped, at least like made the music made the music making process clearer, or like
Yeah.
just like how has it changed how you looked at the process of making music?
Yeah. No, I appreciate this question because I've hardly gotten this question at all. Really. This is probably like the second time somebody's asked me this. Yo was the first time. Um, So not like I would say absolutely, like my approach now to production obviously is different. Like spacing is important, textures are important, and I'm keeping all of this in mind when I'm actually building for myself or somebody else, like as far as production is concerned. Like what guitar VST, or if an actual real guitar would sound better like with my voice or somebody else's voice, or
Right.
bass, or like what kind of reverb works here, what reverb, like, you know what I'm saying, like doesn't work here. Like all those type of things come into mind, and it's not like this rocket science thing where I'm second guessing, but I'm just quickly like knowing automatically what to use in the production that will work well with my voice, or again if I'm producing for somebody else. um and so that's just helped me, like not just as somebody that produces, but then also somebody that like in my writing, like knowing, like even recently, like I got a track from somebody, knew it needed additional production, because I'm the type of dude that a lot of the times I like for all the production to be done before I start anything.
Yeah.
But because I'm maturing in my ear, like I'll get a beat, work on it, and now because I've matured like in production and sound design, I'm like, okay, now I can step back after I record everything and see where the additional production and textures and all that need to go. Um, and so that's, I feel like that's made me even more dangerous now.
Mm.
Like and knowing how things need to sound, exactly how they need to sound. And it just makes it even, even like it just makes it more fun. I think the other thing too is like sound design has encouraged me to play with my voice a lot more. uh like I just don't have one way of rapping, now. And I think people will hear that in my newer music beyond like the Gold Fangs on Sunday stuff. Cause I think I did it on my last project, you know. But on my newer stuff it's different. You know what I'm saying? I'm leveling up now because I'm understanding, like, one of my favorite things when it comes to production is using vocals of any kind. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be vocal phrases or singing, whatever the case is, and using them in different ways in production. Like I was making a beat for a homie, I think he's releasing this year, and he's pretty like big in the Twitter rap space. But I was making a joint for him, and I'll just say who it is. I made a joint for Asar
Hey, shout out
recently.
to Asar. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
dope.
And I remember I told him like I love to like have the artist do something vocally that we can pitch and make it sound different, and make it a part of the beat. You know what I'm saying? To where it's
Yeah.
like people hear it, like, yo, where'd you get, is this a sample? Like, where'd you know that's actually this person? And so I'll either tell them to say something, or he came up with one thing and I had him do, like I did sung something for him to do. And so we made it a part of the beat, and it made it even more personable for him because it's his voice doing, like I turned him singing, like sampling his voice in, like, and put it into the beat. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it just made it more so of a record like that was made for him. So I love vocals, but like it's even teaching me like to do different things vocally and like play with my voice more when I'm rapping. And so that's something fun that I like. I've been having fun doing that even in my writing now. And learning how to make space for that as I'm writing, like, these verses, like making space for the little vocal things or ad libs or whatever.
I
So it's just
see.
like I would say the biggest thing now is just like the biggest lesson is just I've been learning how to make space for things. Like those little nuances is not just about the lyrics anymore. It's just the breaths or the ad libs or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, man, that's I hope, I know I feel like I rambled a little bit. I feel like
You
I answered
you
it.
you definitely answered the question, like, because like that goes beyond like that goes like one of my favorite questions to ask people like you, like rapper producers, is always like, like as like do you feel like you approach making the music differently as a producer, but like just doing sound design in general, like that's even, like I said before, that's even deeper. And it's like, what, like putting music together like that is like it's like putting pieces of a puzzle together, especially if you're doing it in like a especially if you're doing it in a I'm in a program like Logic or Ableton,
Yeah,
or
I use Logic.
yeah, like it's just like it's
Yeah,
just it's just like taking different, it's just like taking different instruments and vocals and just like arranging them all together and pitching things. It's just like, it's really just about adjusting everything's place within the puzzle to make
right.
sure that it all slides together.
Yeah,
Like that's the beautiful thing about making music like that. And like you can tell, it's easy to tell when someone has their ear to the ground about that type of shit,
yeah.
and it really comes through in the music, and it makes it that much more like interesting just off of that. So
Man, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, that was one of the things that was pretty dope. When I got a chance to like talk to Yo, and when we did the rap portraits,
mm-hmm.
the viewfinder thing, and I was asking, because I know Holland too. He's
Shout out to
from,
Holland.
yeah, he's from this area. And I was asking, like, I asked Holland, I was like, so I'm just curious to know, it's like, why, like, what made you guys choose me? Like, you know what I'm saying? As one of the viewfinders here. And he was just like, man, because like you really care about the music, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And how it's put together. And so like when I was like, oh, like, damn, I appreciate that. So every time I hear that now, it's an affirmation, man. It's very refreshing to hear, because no, I actually care about this shit. And I hope
Right,
people
man.
hear that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like that shit, like like it's a difference between people who care. Like, not to say that there are people, I mean, like I'm sure there are people who don't care, but like you can tell when somebody really wants to go that extra mile and like really put that in there. And that's what attracted me to your work in the first place. When I first heard I Thought I Knew,
Yeah.
because
Oh,
like for you,
damn, you heard that one too?
yeah, come on, man. Like
Oh
that,
man.
I feel like that was kind of like I feel like that was the one that kind of put you on a lot of people's radars.
Yeah.
And it was like that was like that was a project that gave you a lot of exposure, and you just gave so much of yourself on that.
Wow,
I'm recording that.
man.
Sorry. But what's it
All
called?
good.
What was I saying?
You
Yeah,
say
so
you gave me, yeah,
yeah, I Thought I Knew.
yeah.
And like you gave so much of yourself in all of those songs. Like that's just like
Wow.
you like I was
Damn.
like to hear you be so open about yourself and everything that you had gone through, and like and like I love the cover with you as the thinking man in the museum, just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
so just like considering how personal and intimate that project is, like, and considering that so many people, like, that was like their first introduction to Pat Jr. Like, did you
yeah.
expect that record to kind of go the way it did? Because like, wow,
Nah.
like what a first project to have people be like, oh, who's this? Like,
Yeah, man. Man, first of all, I appreciate you. Like, I didn't know when you started listening, but I knew it was like, at least it had to be like last year. You know what I'm saying? Uh, but no, man, like,
no, I've been around.
yeah. I see. Nah, man, I really appreciate that, man. I'm glad that was, shout out to my homie D Still, man. He executive produced the project, and he produced the majority. I think I did like some co-production, and then I got a beat from my homie Siege, which is Like the Waves, but like the rest of it is just D Still. That was the first project I actually had somebody do all the heavy lifting on production for me. Cause like
Sheesh.
I was I was doing like my own shit like before that. I was get beats like here and there, but I was doing all my shit like for the most part. But shout out to D Still, man. That dude he's crazy. Yeah, like I for me, like I really I'm glad that was like the introduction, you know what I'm saying, to people like of me. It definitely was a very vulnerable project, you know what I'm saying, as I'm currently thinking back on that right now. um Especially like the first track, I'll admit, like I feel like I really like in a very plain way poured my heart out, you know what I'm saying, um on that record. And that's actually like my opener. Like when I perform, that's like my opening song. And so people are like, oh
Jesus.
yeah, people are like, oh shit. Like it just really it really snatches you, like it grabs you by the hand and it's like, come on, like, and I bring you right into my world. You know what I'm saying? Um, and so yeah, like I'm glad that was an introduction for people, because it's very much so the core of who I am, like as an individual, like who is vulnerable, and I want like my art to be to service of other people. So not I love that, you know what I'm saying. I love that was the introduction. So yeah, man.
Yeah, it's just
Damn,
like,
that's still crazy. You never know who's listening, bro. Like
yeah, come
I'm
on.
still over here like, damn, you was listening back then. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah, man. Nah, cause like I remember when the project came out. Donna interviewed you for DJ Booth. Shout out to
Yep.
Donna.
Yep.
And like that was around the time when I was like, oh, let me check this out. And I listened and
Yeah.
I was like, God damn, like you really just like really like just the fact that you just like gave so much of yourself on something that was like us, like it wasn't a debut, but it was like a big, like, this is the marker moment for me,
Yeah.
for you. And like, and then like from there, like not too long after that was when you started dropping like all these other little tracks, and then you started doing like all the freestyles. And like, and then like other people started to pay attention. Like I saw you getting some shout outs from Team Dreamville and all the other rap Twitter
Infamous
fucking,
the infamous
like,
Chicago radio freestyle shit.
yep,
You know
like,
what's crazy? So you know what's crazy about that? I'm gonna tell you a story. This is on some movie shit.
please, let's
So,
go.
and I got a little time now because my meeting that I had was canceled. The next meeting I had. So so I remember, like, I've been to Chicago before. Like I love Chicago. It's like my home away from home, man. Like I love the city, the atmosphere, just like the culture, like all of that. You know what I'm saying? I fit right in when I'm in Chicago. And it's the summer, the first time I've been to Chicago in the summer. Um,
Yeah.
and because like the other times that I've went, it was fucking cold, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I'm excited because it's like, okay, this is the first time I'll be in Chicago during the summer. Weather should be nice and everything. And when I get there, it's overcast. Like it's gloomy and shit. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And I think I got there. I can't remember what day I got there, but I remember it wasn't, the sun was not, it was warm, but the sun like hadn't come out in the like the first like couple of days. And I think the third day I was there is when I did the interview. And I remember the morning of, there was like a tornado or hurricane warning or some shit like that happened. So it was raining dumb hard. And I was just like, bro, like, what the fuck? Like, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to make it. And I was texting, shout out to Pretty Riot, who invited me. Like, she heard something I did like the year before, and she was like, if you ever in Chicago again, I want to have you on the show. Like, it's a no-brainer. But she invited me. So I'm texting her and I'm like, look, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to come because shit is like it's raining hard and they're saying it's gonna be a hurricane and all this shit. And then it's like, it's a 45-minute drive to where we're going.
Oh, damn.
So I'm like, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to make it or whatever. So I was like, I'll keep you posted. So we're like, okay, cool, whatever, whatever. Uh, so we actually, obviously, we made it. When we drive out there, still overcast. I do the freestyle, and then after the freestyle is done, literally, like we finish filming it, like maybe a few minutes after, the sun comes out. Finally.
Stop.
And it's like, no, bro, the craziest shit, I promise you. And it like, and I was there, and I didn't realize it until the host of the radio show said, yo, he was like, man, he was like, so you brought that storm over here. He was joking. You know what I'm saying? He was like, you brought that storm over here. That was you, like, blah, 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 this and the third. And it's just real funny how God works sometimes. Like, because it's like I told the story to Yo, and Yo was like, he was like, I knew you was going there. He was like, it's crazy. Like, God is a comedian, man. And I was just like, in that moment, it was like on some movie shit. Like, damn, did I really bring the storm out here? On some Thor shit, you know what I'm
Right,
saying?
bro. Yeah, no, sometimes you can't question it. You just gotta accept the fact that just like, just like coincidences and crazy shit like that.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
just thought
it's
it was some
yeah.
movie shit. I thought it was funny.
Right.
I was just, you know what I'm saying? Like on some Thor shit. But I
I
like,
love it.
yeah, man, like that happened. And then, we did the me and Sway did the back and forth thing for a little while, like on Twitter. So yeah, man, I feel like it's been really dope. Just I think one of the things for me that's really helped me out in being more like present on the internet is just, I would say one of the biggest things is me going to therapy and having a new sense of confidence about who I am. Um,
Yeah.
because I used to be the person that second guessed myself a lot. Um, I remember like last year around the time like I had finished making the album, and I even think during the process of making Gold Fangs on Sunday, like I was dealing with like heavy imposter syndrome, bro. Like
Mm.
really bad. And so um yeah, so like I like me going to therapy really helped me like become like have this new sense of confidence that was kind of like buried, like, you know what I'm saying, for some time, just because of all the shit that you heard, like that I went through on I Thought I Knew. So when I'm putting out these albums, this is like very fresh shit that I'm like dealing with and thinking about. Like I'm a very quick processor. Like, so like I'm writing these things and talking about them around the times that they're happening. Um, and so everything that you're hearing on I Thought I Knew is just very like real, like life. And the thing is that I didn't know at the time the shit that I was going through was like very traumatic. I'm finding this out in therapy. Like I've been in therapy for a year, and I'm finding this out in therapy is just like, no, nigga, you going through some traumatic shit that you think is regular life, and it's actually like traumatizing. Like you got to unpack
Mm.
this shit some more. And so I'm like, yeah, like I'm super thankful that I'm here now. And I also think it's the reason why I've been more encouraged in having more like bravery to approach like the music that I like the way I am now, with incorporating all of my influence from movie scores and stuff like that, and from classical music. Is like, no, just be you. Just don't like, it's not going to come off corny because this is a part of who you are. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So yeah, man.
Like, just like I feel like this is a topic that comes up a lot when I talk to people for this show, but just like the whole
Really?
idea, the whole idea of like being you and
Yeah.
like what that means, and like the fact that like we all say that, but I don't know that there are very many people who like really take that to like, it's one of those things that's been said so much that it's like it could be kind of hard to discern like who really means it and who doesn't. And to see people who really mean just like kind of really embracing who they are regardless of what people say, Like that's not an easy thing to do, man. Like
Mm-mm.
most of us are our own toughest critic. There are so few people who are going to be like who are always going to love every single thing they do just because they did it, but like, like just like sometimes it's kind of like how it is with writing. Like sometimes like things are just done. Like things don't need to be tampered with anymore. Like sometimes the shit is just done and you could just
Yeah.
put it out and just like if people like it, cool. If not, try again next time type shit.
Yeah.
But like I think
Can I ask you something when it comes to writing? Like,
yeah, please.
um, so because I know you're a thinker, right? Like, obviously you've gotten to
Sometimes.
obviously you've gotten to a place where you're more seasoned in how you write and the way you're writing and your thought process. Like, what's the big difference of, or how did you get over overthinking things? You know what I'm saying?
I didn't.
Really?
I didn't.
So how do you handle that now? How do you know when it's done? You know what I'm saying?
I just oh, that's such a good question. Damn. I just kind of barrel through it, like I just because like the way I write, I don't like my mom instilled, I love you mom, shout out to mom,
Yeah.
mom's really instilled in me like the importance of like outlines and just like figuring out like how
Mm.
just like because like I always knew what I wanted to say, but I always struggled with how to say it. And I do to this day, but I outline everything in my brain. And I just like, I'm the type of person who just like rewrites sentences over and over and over again until I get them right. And I just like, and like, I just keep writing, then I'll delete. I keep writing, then I delete. I'll write something and then just like kind of go back and tamper with it and just kind of get it to a point where I think is cool and then move on. Like sometimes that overthinking helps because I'll go back and like notice something that I missed and be able to like flesh out a point better or like add in like a better reference or like make a transition smoother from paragraph to paragraph or some shit like that. But other times it'll just be like I know exactly what I want to say, but I don't know how to put that shit on the fucking page the way that it needs to go. And that's where I start to get stuck. But I think that like if I overthink something, right? And I've tried 6 different ways to do it and it's not working and
Yeah.
I already have a way, it's like I'm just like I'm just like burning time for no
Yeah. Yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
I just have to step out of my own head and be like, nigga, you're done. Like
Yeah.
just step away from the shit. It's cool.
Yeah.
Like I wish I could remember who told me this, but like probably somebody I respect a lot told me just like sometimes it's just done. Like
Yeah.
even if it's not perfect, sometimes it's done and you just need to turn it in and like somebody will edit it for you and it'll probably be fine. But yeah, like the answer is I didn't get over the overthinking. I still overthink.
How you
It's just
approach it
about
now?
yeah, it's just about me realizing when overthinking is necessary and when it isn't. I'm still not perfect at that either,
That's good.
like because like there are some times where I'll write 1,500 words in 2 hours, and there are some times where it'll take me 4 hours to write a paragraph. It depends on the
Wow.
day. It can really be those
Okay.
two extremes. It's a lot, but like I think it's there's this Mac Miller quote that I think about all the time from swimming where he said I'd be going through it, you just go around it. And that's kind of how I feel
Whew.
about like my approach to writing. Like I just like if I have a problem or an issue with really anything, but especially writing, I just kind of walk through the fog and figure it out.
Yeah.
That's just kind of how I've always operated. Whether it's like disagreements or arguments or just like with people or just like a difficult thing I need to do, I just take a deep breath and go. Like I know not everyone acts like that, and that's obviously not the smartest choice for every single person, but that's always just kind of been my approach to life. and it definitely applies to my writing.
Yeah,
It comes out the way it needs to come out, and I thankfully work with a bunch of cool people who see things I don't,
yeah.
and that
That's
works.
dope, man. This makes me feel less crazy. Like hearing you say sometimes it takes you 4 hours to write a paragraph. Like I think that's one of the like this might sound crazy, but that's one of the things that I've kind of done. Like some songs, when I hear the beat or when I have an idea about a song and I'm laying down the foundation production for it, I already know how I want it to sound. I think that's how like off of Gold Fangs on Sunday, that's how Cool With You came about. Like,
Oh, really?
yeah, like I had literally just dealt with a situation and it took me a few days to get over it, but I was dealing with somebody who, like, I talk about it in the song in the first verse where I'm just saying, like, this industry person, like, essentially, like, was saying, yo, this is dope, but you need X, Y, and Z to really make it in this industry. Like, like you need to have some kind of like crazy, like, like, see, this person has this story, this gang story behind them, and this person, and it was just like, really, nigga, you know what I'm saying? And so
Yeah.
what I found out is they really wanted me to be their pawn. Like they wanted to use me for a certain skill set so I could stay focused on that and they could thrive. You know what I'm saying? And so and that's when I first figured out like what an industry pawn was. I didn't become one. But anyway, like I was I know how I was feeling, and I literally the chord progression, I made it into a voice memo. So like I was humming out like the notes for it. And I sent it to my homie JP, who's the other half of Pelham Jr. And so I was like, I sent him in a text. I was like, I want the main to be like a felt piano. I want this to sound cinematic. I need like some strings or whatever. Like, and I'm just gonna rap over that in the beginning. And so like that came to me immediately. And then like the second verse where the drums and all that shit comes in, that's my production. Like I brought it, like I came in with the drums and all that stuff. But like that kind of stuff like happens, like sometimes it happens immediately, and then sometimes I will wrestle with like 8 bars for like 3 or 4 hours sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And rewording things, and you know what I'm saying, like
Yeah,
trying to
man.
figure stuff out. But I think recently, it's funny you say outline. This might sound crazy, but I actually, when I start overthinking a song because I feel like I have so much I want to say, I outline that bitch.
I knew you were gonna say that. Yeah.
I outline that bitch. Like in the first verse, this is what I want to talk about. I list certain things, and in the second verse, these are the things that I want to talk about. So I know that might sound weird,
Not,
but
no, not at all. Like it's really like, like we all compartmentalize and organize our thoughts how we need to.
yeah,
And like if it takes an outline, it takes an outline. If it takes you talking to yourself out loud to kind of see how it sounds, that's what it takes,
I do that
like, and
too. Yeah,
that's, yeah, no, I do the same, like it's like I like retain my own words better if I hear them out loud.
that's fire,
It's
man.
strange, but yeah, nah, man, that's what this creative shit's all about, like kind of finding those workarounds for these fucking challenges and shit.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
man. Wow. Like, it's crazy that like it's like last 15-20 minutes is way like the conversation we just had is better than all the questions I had written down. So I'm so happy that just happened.
Hey,
Like,
man. This
oh man,
fire, man. This is
yo.
fire.
So like my very, very, very last question for you
Okay.
is one that I missed it, or I didn't explicitly ask it last week, but I'm gonna
Okay.
ask
Okay.
it again. I'm like it's relatively new, so I'm trying to like really keep at it.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
If your life was a movie, what would it be about?
Oh man. That's tough, man. Oh man, what's that one movie that's coming to mind? Fuck. You know, it's crazy. I was having this conversation. Um, I was having this conversation with a homie the other day, and we were just talking about like as artists and just in life. Um, I couldn't say what it would be about, but I think it would look somewhat like an action RPG video game.
Ooh, okay.
And the reason why I say that is because we were having this conversation, and I just made this analogy up on the spot when we were talking. Um, like I had came to a conclusion of the matter on just some things I've been thinking about, and I shared it with him. And I said, man, life is a lot like action RPG video games when it comes to leveling up and accomplishing the things you want to accomplish, right? Like the main storyline, like if you play a action RPG video game, right? If you just play the main storyline and keep going further and further in the story, all games aren't built like this, but the ones who like the developers who really want you to experience the game, they kind of force you to do side quests.
Yeah.
And so like you can't just play the main storyline and do well. Like if you try to just play the main storyline straight through, it's going to be brutal. You're going to get your ass whooped. But the way life works, before we hit these new levels, like as you're leveling up, as you're leveling your character up, right? The next level you hit, it calls for more experience and more experience and more experience to hit the next level. And I was telling him life is like action RPG, where it's like the main storyline is very exciting, but the side quest is where you really, really, really level up, right? Like it's where you really level up and you get the best loot and all that stuff. Like, and I don't know if you've ever experienced this in life where it's like, I don't know if maybe you went through this before you like started working for some of the big like, you know, blogs and stuff, but I feel like artists and just people in general, like we go through these stages in life where it's like, you know, how you go through these transitional periods where um you feel like you're right there at the next level, but you feel like, man, is this the end of the game for me? Like, is this the end of the video game?
Oh, I've
Like,
been there.
have I hit my peak? Have I maxed out in my level? When really all that's happening right now is that you're doing a bunch of side quests so that you can go to that next level.
I was there. I was there last week, bro. That's the way you put that was so beautiful. Yeah, I was
You see
there
what I'm
last week.
saying?
That's so crazy.
So like I feel like my I feel like if whatever my movie would, you know, would be like, what, you know what I'm saying, it would be. And here's another reason why I say that, because a lot of the fucking video games turned movies are ass, and I hate that.
Yeah, yeah. That's a
But
fact.
my life would be a good video game turned movie. It would be a good video game turned movie film. And it would be like an action RPG, but in a way where it's like, I, I can't fucking think. What's the movie with the actor's name is I don't know why this is happening to me right now. He played a news reporter. He's like he's in a lot of comedian movies, but he's like plays like in the 70s like a news reporter. Will Ferrell. What's the
Yeah.
movie with Will Ferrell where there's a lady, there's an author narrating, like she's writing his story.
Stranger Than Fiction.
Stranger Than Fiction.
Wow, that's a deep cut. That movie is wild too. I really like
Yeah.
that. Wow, I haven't thought
Yeah.
about that shit in years. That's one I'm gonna go watch like tonight.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So it'll be an action RPG that plays off of that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because even in that film, if you want to break it down that way, there's a lot of side quests and things that he went through to get to that level where he broke out of being just a character in the story. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Oh,
So yeah,
yo,
man.
that's such a good answer. I haven't thought about that movie in years too, because like that was one of those things I saw that like they're like I feel like everybody has like either like a movie or like an album or like some sort of piece of like art or like media in general that that just like breaks your brain and like rearranges the way like I think about life narration because of that movie Stranger Than
Yes.
Fiction. Like that's like
Yes.
a thing that has never occurred to me in my life. And then I saw that and I'm like, wow, like there really is like probably right now just like somebody's just like, oh and then they were talking on the podcast about this.
Yeah.
It's like it's just like those type of things that just make you look at the world different forever, you
Yeah,
know?
man.
Like
Absolutely.
that's the beauty of this art shit. That's the beauty of film. That's the beauty of music. Like just like this shit like changes. Yeah, this shit just kind of changes our lives
Yeah,
and just like
man.
rearranges the way our brains work.
Yeah,
And
man.
I don't got any more questions, but like
Okay. It's
Pat,
all good.
this has been so good. Wow, man. Like
Man.
what a good convo, son. Thank you so much for
Man,
being
I
so yeah.
appreciate you, man. Thank you. This is an honor that you would ask me to be on this. So I appreciate you, man, wholeheartedly.
Nah, man, especially after you sent me that song and told me how much the shit meant to you. I was like, nah, like we need to make this like that was like a
Yeah.
like I had already wanted to do it anyway, but like the fact that that happened, I was like, oh, we got to make this happen now. Thanks for listening. Shout out to y'all for making it this far. And shout out to all the black people listening too, because y'all really impeccable. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell a friend to come through next time. 1.